So in this session, we are going to see how arrays are being handled in PHP. In the programming languages like C, Java, etc., the concept of array is already been seen. In the case of arrays in Java or in C language, actually it is represented as a array name, say for example A, and the index value. So this is the array name and this is the maximum index value. So the array is being represented by an array name and the elements are taken by specifying the index value. For example, suppose you want to take a particular element from an array A, you will write it as A5, array name, index value. So this is the concept of arrays in ordinary programming languages. Now in the case of PHP, the concept of array is just like the concept of arrays in C or Java, but the difference is how it is been handled, how the values are specified, how the index is specified. So in the case of PHP, the array is being represented by a set of values, it is a key and the corresponding value. So key represents the index actually, as you have seen in the case of C or Java, and the corresponding value is being represented this second data. So any data is being represented as the key value, that is index position, and the value. That is the difference in handling the array in PHP. In PHP, there are three different types of arrays: indexed arrays, associative arrays, and multi-dimensional arrays as the normal concept. So arrays are basically being classified into two: indexed arrays and associative arrays. And the same indexed arrays and associative arrays can be represented as single dimensional arrays or multi-dimensional arrays. In the case of indexed array, the index value is a numeric value. In the case of associative array, index will be strings or named key values. So key is being represented as index. So if the index is numeric, then we call it as indexed array, and if the index is a non-numeric value, then it is been termed as associative arrays. And arrays can be either being represented as single dimension or multi-dimensional arrays depending upon the data stored in it, depending upon the number of rows and number of columns in a particular array. Now, how an array is being created? So the array is created using an array function. So array function will be used for the creation of an array. Now here is an example. Suppose colors as an array. Colors is the name of the array. So $colors is equal to array of. You are calling a function array for creating the array. And in bracket, you are writing down the values: red, blue, green, yellow. So this can be created as storing it in separate assignment statements, like $colors of 0 is equal to red, $colors 1 is equal to blue, $colors of 2 is equal to green, 3 is equal to yellow, etc. So this is by using an array function, and this is by storing directly the values into a particular index using the square brackets. So these are the two ways of creating arrays: directly by using the array function, or indirectly by storing the data into corresponding index positions. So in the case of PHP, we don't use index. Instead of we use the word key. Now, indexed arrays are same as the concept of arrays in C or Java. We have index value using a numeric key value. So, in this example, we are creating an array called the marks with 5 integer values. Now, $n is equal to count of dollar marks. Count is to count the number of values already stored in the marks array, just like calculating the array length. So n will be 5. Echo number of marks stored in the array is equal to $n. Then you are using a for loop for displaying each array value. $I is equal to 0, $I less than $n, where n is the array length, $I plus plus, echo mark $I, marks of I, $I. So this is the key value and this is the value stored in that key position. You can see the output over here. So what is indexed arrays? Indexed arrays are where you are using integer value as index, or you call it as key. In this example, marks is an indexed array because marks uses the index value ranging from 0 to 4 over here. 5 values are stored. First value is stored in the key position 0, second value is stored in the key position 1, and third value key position 2, last value key position 4. So this is how the array is been handled in the case of indexed arrays. Now, second classification of arrays in PHP is something called associative arrays. In associative arrays, instead of integer key value, we use string as the key value. So instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. index values integer, we use string as the index positions or key position for representing the key position. Here is an example. Marks is an array. Difference is that it is an associative array instead of an indexed array. It is here, it has been created as an associative array. It is created using the same array function. And you can see the index values. Which are the index values? First index values, I know. 0, instead of 0, you are using the string I know as index. Second index is binu. Third index is manu, renu, vinu. And what are the values? First value stored in the index anu is 34. Second value stored in the index binu is 67. Third value is 90 stored under the index manu. Renu, it is 12. At position vinu, it is 23. So this is the representation of key value. So key value, anu is the key, and what is the value corresponding to anu is 34. And for the key binu, the value is 67. Now you can use, note the operator over here, an equal to symbol and a greater than symbol for representing the association between a key and the corresponding value. Now $n counts the number of values stored in the array marks. So how many values? 34, 67, 40, 12, 23. 5 values are stored. So count n is equal to 5. N is equal to 5. Echo number of marks stored in the array $n. 5 will be represented. It is been displayed. Now for each, using for each loop. For each marks in the array marks. For each value, ask key value pair. So taking each element and value stored in the variable value and its corresponding index is stored in the variable key. Key is a variable, value is another variable. So when the first element is taken, what is first element? I know representing which value? 34. So when this loop comes to this first element, the value of key is I know, and the value variable value is equal to 34. So this variable represents the index and this variable represents the corresponding value. So for each marks, each element in marks, take the key in the variable key, take the value in the variable value, echo mark of key value. This key and value will be displayed. So mark of I know 34, mark of B know 67, etc. This for each loop will be executed 5 times in this because the array contains at present 5 values. So this is the concept of associative array. Now multi-dimensional arrays, again you can have either indexed array as multi-dimensional or associative array as multi-dimensional. In this example, we have represented an array $A. It is indexed multi-dimensional array. $A, $I, $j. I represents the row number, J represents the column number. So for example, another example, $cars is equal to array of how many internal arrays stored? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this represents the first row. This represents the second row. This represents the third row. And this is the fourth row. And in first row, there are 3 values stored: Volvo 12, 18. You can see another difference over here in PHP array. It need not be all integer values or it need not be all one type data. Actually, not in the concept of array is homogeneous set of elements. Take the C language or Java, array represents homogeneous set of elements. But in PHP, difference lies there that the data stored in the array need not be the same type. You can have different data stored in the array. So these are the values. So first value, first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column, first row, second row, first column, etc. It goes. So this is a 4x3 array. So cars is a 4x3 array. Now here is an example of associative multi-dimensional array. Here we are creating an array called a marks, and marks consists of one row, second row, third row, fourth row. First row index value is Jagesh. So array Jagesh means marks of first row is represented by the index Jagesh. That represents how many values? 3 values. First value is 35, second value is 30, third value is 39. What is the index of 35? Physics. So Jagesh comma physics is 35. Jagesh comma maths is 30. Jagesh comma chemistry is 39. Similarly, second row is represented by the index Siddharth. Siddharth physics. So how do you represent? Actually, marks Siddharth comma physics is equal to 30. This is just like writing an indexed array marks 1, 1 or 2, 1. So here indexes are integers, Here the indices are string. That is the difference between associative array and indexed array. And here is the example of multi-dimensional associative array. Lot of array functions are there. PHP, as we see in the previous classes, PHP has abundant number of functions. Thousands of functions are available in PHP language. So in the case of array also, a lot of functions are associated with arrays. Some examples are here. Sort is for sorting array in ascending order. Sort same array in descending order. You have different other sorts. A sort, associative array in ascending order. K sort, associative array in ascending order according to the key. Similarly, lot of array functions are available in PHP. And you have array fill, print r, array merge. Similarly, many functions. So not sorting alone, lot of functions are available on arrays. So in this session we have seen that PHP can also handle arrays just like C or just like any other programming language. Difference is that it handles another particular type of array called associative array. So in C language and Java, you have only indexed arrays, and you don't call it as indexed, you just call it as array. But in PHP, you call it as indexed array separately and as associative arrays another classification. Indexed array, indexes are integer. In associative array, indices are strings. And both these arrays can be stored in multi-dimensional format also.